You think you're broke because you don't make enough money. You're wrong. I'm going to show you something that will fundamentally change how you understand your own spending habits, and it has nothing to do with budgeting apps or discipline. The truth is, your brain is wired in ways that make you spend money you don't have. And until you understand the psychology behind it, no spreadsheet in the world will save you. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you spend the way you do. And more importantly, you'll have 3 psychology-based techniques to actually change it. Let's start with something psychologists call the scarcity mindset. When your brain believes resources are limited, it makes terrible decisions. This is why lottery tickets sell more in poor neighborhoods, not because poor people are dumb, but because scarcity triggers irrational hope. Your brain literally functions differently when it feels poor. Studies show that financial stress reduces your cognitive capacity by 13 points. That's like losing an entire night of sleep. So when you're stressed about money, you make worse financial decisions, which creates more stress, which tanks your decision-making further. It's a downward spiral, and most people never escape it because they blame themselves instead of understanding the psychology. Here's the second trap that's destroying your finances: the dopamine loop. Every time you buy something, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that gets released when you use drugs. Your brain doesn't care if it's a $5 coffee or a $500 handbag. The psychological reward is identical. Over time, your brain adapts, and you need bigger purchases to get the same hit. This is why people who swear they'll just buy one thing end up with shopping bags. It's not weakness, it's neuroscience. Credit cards make this 10 times worse because there's no immediate pain. You don't feel the money leaving, so the dopamine spike happens without the offsetting stress response. That's why people spend 23% more when using credit cards versus cash. So how do rich people think differently? Here's the secret. Wealthy people have trained themselves to feel the pain of spending differently. When a billionaire buys a yacht, they're not in dopamine mode. They're calculating opportunity cost. They ask themselves, what else could this money do? Instead of, how will this make me feel? This isn't about being cheap. It's about psychological reframing. A rich person who spends $10,000 on a watch is consciously deciding that the enjoyment outweighs the alternative uses. A poor person who spends $1,000 they don't have on a watch is in dopamine mode with no cost calculation happening. The difference isn't income, it's psychological awareness. So here are 3 psychology hacks that actually work. First, the pain of paying technique. You need to feel your money leaving. Switch to cash for discretionary spending for just 2 weeks. You'll literally feel the scarcity response kick in because your brain processes physical cash differently than digital numbers. Second, the future self-visualization. Before any non-essential purchase, spend 30 seconds visualizing your future self in 6 months. Did you buy it? And are you glad? Or do you regret it? This sounds simple, but it bypasses the dopamine loop by engaging your prefrontal cortex instead of your limbic system. Third, replace the dopamine cycle with a different reward. Instead of shopping when stressed, implement a 24-hour waiting period and use that time to track one investment for beginners. Maybe check how the stock market basics work, or research early investing strategies. You'll be surprised how often that dopamine craving just disappears. Your action plan starts today. First, identify your spending trigger. Is it stress, boredom, social comparison, or scarcity anxiety? Write it down. Second, implement one of these psychology hacks this week. Don't try all 3. Your brain can't rewire multiple habits simultaneously. Third, Start understanding your relationship with money by tracking not just what you spend, but why you spend it. You'll notice patterns. Once you see the patterns, you can interrupt them. This isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding how your brain works so you can work with it instead of against it. The people who build real wealth aren't the ones with the highest incomes. They're the ones who understand their own psychology and use it as a feature, not a bug. If this video shifted how you think about money, hit that like button and subscribe for more psychology-backed personal finance content that actually changes behavior. Drop a comment and tell me, what's your biggest spending trigger? Is it stress, social media, or something else? Let's build a community of people who understand that money mastery is psychology mastery. Thanks for watching.